Hi everyone, Tiffany Tillman here with another Q&A Wednesday, a video feature at simplytiffanystudios.com dedicated to answering your digital scrapbooking questions. Today's video is a follow-up to something you gals have been waiting for a long time. Ephemera and Extraction Part 2. Before I start, let me introduce you to this video sponsor. Fancy a seamless blend of shabby vintage design with clean and modern craftsmanship? Look no further than the offerings from Mai de Leon. Mai's kits are a good mix of themed and non-themed pieces, perfect for milestones and everyday pages. She's got a little something for everyone, from vibrant and energetic colors to soft and sweet shades. Mai is passionate about digital scrapbooking. Not only are her kits of excellent quality, and I know because I've used them, but she also loves to spread her passion for digital scrapbooking on her blog at maideleon.com. Enjoy her tutorials, check out her freebies, and improve those skills with Mai de Leon. Simply Tiffany viewers can get a special 20% off discount on Mai's products using coupon code MY_STS20 off. That's MYE_STS20OFF. And this code will expire on December 31st, 2014. In the last do-it-yourself tutorial, I shared how to photograph ephemera, the little doodads we scrapbookers love to collect, save, cherish, and display on our scrapbook pages. But what happens after you photograph that lovely ephemera? Well, you now need to digitize it. Basically, remove the object from the photo and reassign it as a digital piece. And more importantly, make it look just as real digitally as it did when you took the original photo. And we call this process extracting. If you've ever tried extracting ephemera using your editor, you already know it ain't easy. But it can be, if you know how. And in today's lesson, I'll share how. Plus, the steps I share will work for both Photoshop and Photoshop Elements users. Let's get started. We begin with a great photograph of the dimensional object following my tips from the first lesson. Next, duplicate the original layer and toggle off the visibility of the original layer. We'll keep it around for comparison if necessary, or if we want to start over. So make sure the duplicate top layer of the photo is active in the Layers panel. Now our job is to isolate the ribbon from the background. And I suggest using the Quick Selection tool. There are other tools you can use as well, but I find the Quick Selection tool is best when extracting items of a single color. Using the tool, which is identified with a kind of brush-like cursor, I'll click around the ribbon and allow the selection to build. If by chance the selection begins to overlap beyond the desired area, hold down the Option key if you're using a Mac or the Alt key for PC users. And then click on the areas that you want subtracted from the selection. And I'll just continue to work around the ribbon piece until it's to my liking. When you get to areas that are pretty fine and hard to select, reduce the size of your brush. You can do that quickly using the left bracket key on your keyboard. And then that will help you get to those hard to reach areas. Once the selection is complete, right-click within the selection, the actual marching ants. Right-click within the selection of the ribbon and then choose Layer via Copy from the flyout. And now your ribbon will exist on its own layer, completely isolated from the background. That simply means it's extracted. Way to go! If your piece doesn't look like mine, then you've missed important key parts. So back up in the History panel and keep going. Next, create a Color Fill Adjustment layer underneath the extraction in the Layers panel. Click on the Create New Fill or Adjustment Layer icon in the Layers panel, and then select Solid Color from the flyout. Choose a color that contrasts with the object and the background. For example, if your background is white, then choose black for the fill layer. And the reason why is because the contrasting color will pinpoint the areas on the edge that are still picking up traces of background color. It's those areas we'll need to fine-tune so our extraction looks pristine. So here's my method for working with those dreaded edges. First, toggle the Quick Selection tool again, and then select a chunk of the ribbon or the piece. You won't need to select the entire ribbon again, but just a chunk. The goal here is to select a smaller portion of the ribbon and then invert the selection so only the outside of the chunk can be edited. Now, I prefer using the Quick Selection tool to do this because my piece is a solid color. The Quick Selection tool easily determines what part is part of my ephemera and what's not. If my embellishment was multicolored, I would use a completely different selection tool. I can also use the Quick Selection tool more efficiently because of the contrast between the red ribbon and the white background. And that's why I said in the first lesson that you want your background to contrast with the item as much as possible because it will save you time as you extract. So use the Quick Selection tool to select a chunk of ribbon, then invert the selection by going to Select, Inverse, or use shortcut keys Command-Shift-I on a Mac or Control-Shift-I on a PC. Select the Eraser tool, that's E on your keyboard, and begin to erase the outer portions of your piece, in this case the ribbon. A key tip is to zoom into 200% or more so you can see everything you want to erase. And again, reduce and increase the size of your brush using the bracket keys so your work is precise. When you're ready to move on to the next section, deselect the current selection using shortcut keys Command-D on a Mac or Control-D on a PC. Then choose the Quick Selection tool again, select a new area, invert the selection, select the Erase tool, and continue. And that's the ebb and flow. Now don't worry if it's not perfect at this point. We'll revisit each area with a fine-tooth comb one more time. But use this cleanup method on every edge and corner of the embellishment. And I hate to tell you this, guys, but this part requires patience. So I'm going to speed up my video a bit and go through my entire ribbon. Once I've done the entire ribbon, I select the eraser tool again and just glance over edges I might have missed that are completely obvious. I don't need to select anything, but I'll just remove any background that is still clearly visible that I might have missed. Finally, I'll add a stroke and increase its size to 5 pixels or more. And the beauty of the stroke is it will identify ghost areas or pixels that are on the layer of my object that really shouldn't exist. So grab the eraser tool again and erase those ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghost. I had to go there. You know that was coming. Come on. If you noticed stroked bubbles near the edge of the ribbon, erase those too, as they are leftover pixels, usually shadows and highlights, that won't look good on your finished extraction. The idea here is to make the stroke look smooth. And now that looks good. Our final test is to quality check our newly minted and digitized embellishment. I have two methods actually. First, I'll add a drop shadow to the ribbon, and then I'll change the color of the background using the color fill adjustment layer to verify that the piece would work on any colored digital background like a paper or photo. And then fine-tune any noticeable areas. And once this process is complete, you're completely done. Congratulations! You've extracted. In the final part of ephemera and extractions, I'll share 2 additional ways to source ephemera and my favorite designer tricks for making them look absolutely fabulous. If you subscribe to my YouTube or Vimeo channel, you'll be first in line to watch. And if you want to learn more about extractions, check out the All-Stars workshop at scrapineers.com, where I share how to extract a subject from a busy and less than stellar photo, and how to repurpose the background photo into a clever and artistic design. I'd like to thank My De Leon for sponsoring this edition of Do It Yourself Crafting Techniques, and you for watching. Until the next video, happy scrapbooking!